Hello and welcome to our live community chat. Today we are going to be talking about intermittent fasting and realistic weight loss goals because I know there are a lot of different ways to practice intermittent fasting or fasting in general to lose weight. And I want to make sure that everyone here in this community has a realistic approach to the lifestyle that they are creating for themselves so that in fact we as women can age successfully. So welcome if you're new. My name is Diane Parham. I am the creator of the online course and community, the intermittent fasting for today's aging woman. And here in our community we talk about using a tool like intermittent fasting to create a lifestyle for ourselves to reverse the signs of aging. If you are maybe catching me for the first time, I always ask that if this is what you're looking for in your life as an aging woman today, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you like today's video. If you're joining us on Facebook, please make sure you join our community there as well by clicking that follow button. And there's also a little default notification so you'll know when we go live or upload content. This is a time for us to be a community. So I always ask that you leave your comments below, share a success that you've had with intermittent fasting, whether it's weight loss or outside of weight loss. And then if you're a graduate and you're coming back to visit, I always ask that you put the date that you were a graduate, so the month of the year, or if you're currently a student, I always love to hear from you as well. Okay, so let's get started. Let me turn on the comments here. So if you guys have any comments, I can catch those along the way. So, realistic weight loss goals. So, in order for us to really set realistic weight loss goals, what I believe as a coach and a woman myself is we really have to give ourselves some grace and understand where it is we are starting from, right? So, if we jump into something like intermittent fasting or a diet plan or a new fitness routine, where are we starting from, right? So that we know where the realistic part is coming in. And for a lot of women here in our community, and a lot of women that I coach, and a lot of women that I'm hoping this message will get to, we are in a hormonal transition in our life, right? Suddenly things stopped working for us. Suddenly we're gaining all this weight. Suddenly we're starting to feel bad. Suddenly things are starting to go a little haywire on us, and we're not understanding why. For a lot of us, it starts in perimenopause. Then, if maybe if perimenopause is just that phase, I know it was for me, and I know it is for a lot of women where we're just sort of puzzled the whole time, and our doctor just kind of lets us believe that we're a little, crazy and we're not thinking straight. And maybe you're just this is the frustrated season of the journey, right? And then you get into menopause, and things really start to change with your body chemistry and hormones, and so you start paying a little bit more close attention. And then you finally get to postmenopause, and that's where, for a lot of us, this reality of this is our new body sets in, right? And we just have to learn how to do things differently to adjust to our body. And what we've been raised to do is have our body adjust to what it is we say we want for it, right? And really, what we need to do is adjust to how our body is functioning as a woman going through the transition of menopause. So, fortunately for women today, there's a lot of conversation around menopause. So, the peri part is not so puzzling anymore because we have people talking about it. So, keep the conversation going so that women don't have to go through that uncomfortable, like, questioning phase that we all went through. Okay, so it's generally or can be about a 10-year hormonal transition where things are shifting and are very out of balance, right? Because remember, our hormones ebb and flow one another. So when one is down, the other one tends to adjust and rise up. And this is where the imbalance really starts to take place. For menopause, we know that our sex hormones are adjusting because they're just not needed the way they once were. And oftentimes, what happens is the hormone insulin is the one that's going crazy because it does often offset estrogen, right? This is where a lot of women, as they're getting older and going through this season, end up with insulin resistance and diabetic conditions, the foggy brain I talk about a lot here, my completely lost my memory, couldn't find my car, didn't know my kids' names. All of those things were just the transition of menopause when my body was out of balance, right? So it can be a 10-year hormonal transition. The thing in today's world with a lot of women we have to think about too is so many women are having kids at an older age, right? I know for me, my transition into menopause was right after I had my daughter and I finished nursing her. So I went from the post pregnancy, post nursing hormonal imbalance right into perimenopause. So it was a really rough decade for me from my 40s into my 50s when I was going through this transition. So we have to think about our history as well, right? And then most women enter the transition with hormonal imbalances already. So many of us today are already battling autoimmune disorders. Have been struggling with body fat maybe our whole life. I know for me as a hypoglycemic young woman and an insulin resistant adult, and then I ended up as a pre-diabetic woman after I had my kids, I was already in a state of imbalance and I didn't really make the connection that it had to do with menopause. So, this is where I really like to coach on the mindset and the emotional aspect of how intermittent fasting can help us, right? And it does just allow us the opportunity to just move food out of the way for a majority of our day, do nothing, and let our body get to know us, right? And let us get to know our body so that in that state where we're fasting, we can really give our body the opportunity to balance itself out and then start to make decisions about what it is that we want to do. So, here is the realistic weight loss approach that I like to teach. And what I really want us women to wrap our mind around when we enter into an intermittent fasting lifestyle for a weight loss approach, right? Our body has to heal itself first. That's the beauty of intermittent fasting. When we really move out of the way, let our body have a period of time. What I like to teach is the 20-hour fast. You guys know that. When you have 20 hours of your day where you do nothing to interrupt your body chemistry or your body's hormones, and your body gets to just balance itself out as your body needs to balance itself out, that's where the healing begins. You do not need to do anything drastic to make healing happen in your body. You just have to understand that if you don't interrupt the healing process, the healing will happen on its own. We have so many women in our community who have literally fasted just 20 hours and have reversed so many amazing things that were troubling them with their body as they were starting to go into these aging years, right? We know now aging is actually considered a disease. So if we don't get a handle and really grasp for us what that means, then we could literally die of aging. And we don't want to do that. We want to age successfully, right? So we have to move out of the way so the healing will happen. Healing happens before weight loss happens. The beautiful thing about healing is that also comes with the weight loss, right? A lot of you have experienced that when you start something new. If you transition from unhealthy habits to healthy habits, we get that immediate weight loss. Oftentimes it's due to a loss of inflammation or that water that our body's holding on to when things aren't working properly, right? It's this kind of protective mechanism. And so that's what we get first, right? We get this big flush of weight loss, and that's the inflammation. We tend to not celebrate that because we just have been taught to discount that as water weight. What I want you guys to start doing is celebrating the initial healing process because weight loss is weight loss. And if you're discouraged by water retention and inflammation as a weight gain, then we really need to learn how to congratulate and praise our body for being intelligent enough to let that go, right? So that initial weight loss is generally the water weight or the inflammation. We know inflammation is the number one cause for so many of the health issues that we're having today. So that's what we want to get rid of first. Then we need to balance out our hormones, right? As an aging woman, the hormones for us that are so out of balance are our hunger hormones. And believe it or not, our hunger hormones are the ones that dictate whether we utilize fat or whether we store fat. also known as the weight we're trying to lose, right? And so we have to get those balanced out. Our hunger hormones are our number one problem when we're entering in and going through menopause, because those are the hormones that are so out of balance. And if you don't get those hunger hormones balanced out, your body is incapable of losing weight. It doesn't matter what you do, what you wish for, how much you deprive yourself. If your hunger hormones are not in balance, your body is incapable of losing weight. Like, say that over and over, right? So you understand that as a woman, you have to get those hunger hormones balanced out. The ones we are concerned with most is insulin and leptin. Those are the two that are really dictating how your body stores or utilizes that body fat. And the body fat is the weight we want to lose. Okay, understanding our body. We are in transition as we are going through this season of life. We have to get to know our new body, right? We have to understand what our body needs in order to be energized, in order to be healthy, in order to be fit. All of those things are also in transition as well. So we have to come to some acceptance of where our second season of life is heading, right? Because what we did in our teens, or maybe even as college athletes, or as young moms pushing those strollers all over the neighborhood, our life is just different now. And we have to give some acceptance to that so that we can emotionally and mentally enter into the season of life understanding our body. The other thing that I really, really encourage, if you really want to get a realistic weight loss with anything that you're doing, whether it's intermittent fasting or some other approach that you're going into, is we have to learn how to love our body and just appreciate the amazing vessel that it is, right? I mean, for so many of us, we have created human beings, or maybe you just mothered human beings and you didn't have a pregnancy yourself, but you've held that emotion of caring for another life, right? We've gone through careers. A lot of us helped husbands. We've wished kids off to school. Like, there's so many things that our body has shown up for us to get through life with. And oftentimes all we do is complain about our body and discard it as imperfect, right? And if we really think about all the amazing things our body has done and we give it a little bit of love and appreciation, it's amazing what our body will do for us, right? And that's when we really get that opportunity to keep those chemicals, those hormonal chemicals in balance, and keep those hormones balanced out when we're not going through these type of what I call the binge purge approach to what it is we're doing in life, right? Where we deny ourselves a bunch of things and then we're disappointed and we throw a bunch of things back in. And so make sure you're doing this work as well so that you can get a very realistic weight loss, especially when you're doing intermittent fasting, because what we want to remember is that food is not going anywhere. So if we go into intermittent fasting with this desperate approach to losing weight, we're not really doing the healing aspect, right? Because healing does have to happen mentally and emotionally. And that means forgiving ourselves for some of the things we've done in the past and just knowing we're not going to be the 20-year-old beach volleyball player anymore, whatever you were, right? So self love and appreciation is key to realistic weight loss as well. And then how nutrition works for, and I underlined you. There is not one perfect meal plan or diet program out there. They're all flawed. And they're flawed for you because they don't have you in mind, right? They have the person or the test group in mind. And oftentimes we don't know what a group of people or a person did to achieve that after picture that they're showing you next to their before picture. We don't know. And there are a lot of people and a lot of groups and a lot of plans that do very desperate things that you might want nothing to do with, but all you see and feel is the emotional connection to that after picture and you see yourself in it. So make sure you understand how nutrition works for you and take the time to experiment with food. I talk about it here very openly how there are people in the nutrition industry and the fitness world who just think I'm a little nutso because I won't eat, 160 grams of protein a day. It just doesn't work for my body. My body can't break it down. It can't process it. It stores it away and it becomes very problematic for me. I do very well on about a third of that. And it works for me because I've tested it out. And so now I can confidently creates the food experience and nutrition experience that I need for me based on this last right here, which is what I really want, right? I just want to be happy and healthy. I want to be able to participate in my runs and my cycling classes, and I want to show up for my kids today, and I want to show up for my future family as it starts to grow with my kids getting older. And I don't need anything to be perfect anymore. I want to enjoy food in the way that it falls into my life. I don't want to be restricted. I want to eat like a normal person. I want to be able to go to parties and enjoy cake at a retirement party for a friend if I choose to do that. And I don't want to feel like I'm searching desperately for the perfect meal plan because it doesn't exist. And if a plan that you're following is restrictive or time consuming or causing you stress and angst, I promise you it's not the plan for you because you won't stick to it. It does take some time and effort. It does take some trial and effort, but it is so worth it in the end because you will stop wasting your time, energy, and most importantly, money going out and connecting the desperate reaction. And I have done it too. So I always speak from my own personal experiences. And I've also been part of the after picture next to the before picture to sell fitness programs and diet plans. And there were a lot of things that I did to achieve that after picture that I wasn't willing to do after, right? So I did the plan, I did the exercise, I followed the nutrition plan, I got the before and after picture. They were very legit, they were very truthful. This happened in the transition from the before picture. The part that gets very frustrating is it was so restrictive and so time consuming that I didn't want to complete it or I didn't want to continue it after the picture was taken. And that's the thing that we have to connect to is, are you willing to stick to the life you're creating once you get the result? And this is where realistic weight loss is very important, especially when we're practicing intermittent fasting, because we don't want to create another layer of an unhealthy approach to how it is we love our body, how we care for our body, and how we attack a plan that we're choosing to implement into our life. I can tell you, as a 55-year-old woman, I've been practicing intermittent fasting for 5, almost 6 years. I'm very comfortable and confident in my skin as an aging woman, postmenopausal. I eat very normal everyday food. If you follow me on Instagram, I highly recommend you follow me on Instagram. That's where I show the food that I eat, right? I eat chocolate. I said I think it was last week, I eat chocolate almost every day. I just eat healthy chocolate, right? So there's nothing wrong with chocolate. You just want to make sure that the chocolate that you choose isn't going to mess you up mentally, physically, or emotionally. And mine doesn't. I eat French fries. I eat chips and guacamole on a weekend. I have a very healthy approach to the food that I'm choosing to eat because I know what I really want, right? And this is the part right here. This is the part that I should probably have the big old asterisk on it. This. When you figure out what you really want, you can get yourself to a very healthy and realistic weight loss. Don't panic. Don't binge and purge a lifestyle. I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about don't go in on something for a short period of time, hoping for an unrealistic result, get disappointed, and then go back drastically to things you were doing before. We don't want to have this type of lifestyle anymore. We want to find a nice sense of balance, a nice sense of confidence, and we want to get the weight loss results. You can get the weight loss results by following this type of regimen with intermittent fasting. I love to lead on the mindset approach to how it is we see our bodies, how it is our body is feeling, and the choices that we're making for ourselves as aging women so we can relax and enjoy ourselves, right? No more franticness and unhealthy thoughts about our body as we age. We need to stay healthy mentally, physically, and emotionally so we can enjoy and really embrace these next, hopefully, 50 years of our life, right? And so that's my goal here in this community, is to help you with how it is you're thinking, help you set realistic goals so you can actually achieve them, and then not do anything in a desperate emotional way. We want to have it very well thought out and then understand how our body lets go of weight. The healing has to happen first. We have to achieve a hormonal balance in order for our body to lose weight. Those hormones that we have to balance out are insulin and leptin, so they are no longer storing, and they're actually going to switch gears and go to utilizing the weight that we want to lose. We have to understand our body as it is today and moving forward. And we can't reach for the past as far as unrealistic expectations of what we're looking for. We have to give our body some acceptance and understanding that where we are today and why we are where we are today. And then we have to have some self-love and appreciation for this amazing body that we have. It's been through some things and it's still here hanging on with us. We have to understand how nutrition works for our body and stop taking advice wholeheartedly from people who don't know you, right? If someone doesn't know your food history, if someone doesn't know your history as a woman, they should not be authorized to tell you how to feed yourself. It is your responsibility to understand what your body needs nutritionally, not only what you need to feel good, but what you need to look good and what fits into your life socially, emotionally, and with the people that you spend time with and the customs and some of the traditions that your family has as well. The one thing I hate about the diet world is it never considers where a person is from, how a person celebrates, and the customs they have within their family, right? When you have to walk away from what is part of you, I promise you it will never last. So incorporate you into what it is you're doing with your food. And then what it is you say you really want. This is the clincher right here. This should actually be reverse engineered, right? What do you really want? Do you want to live a restrictive life? Do you want to do things in a way that maybe will grant you a really quick weight loss, but it's not going to last? And you're going to yo-yo and look for the next thing? Are you going to take some time to really understand your body and understand why it is where you are today? When I sat down and did my food history, I was like so relieved because I understood why I ended up a pre-diabetic at 48 years old. It totally made sense to me. And it really gave me the opportunity to let go of a lot of the guilt and shame that's associated with being diagnosed with something like diabetes, right? Like I was a practicing health and fitness coach and got diabetes. It was a shock to me, but it wasn't anything that I was doing wrong. It was because of the things that happened to me in my life, having a baby at 40, being hypoglycemic as a little girl, being insulin resistant as a young adult and not even knowing what that was. It made sense why I was where I was at. And then I just had to make a decision to not accept that and do things differently moving forward. And that's what I'm empowering you guys to do here. Okay, so let's see who's here with us today. Amy, good morning, girlfriend. June 2021 grad. So you're fresh, girlfriend. Love it. Trisha, quick question. Does IF slow down your metabolism? Trisha, IF does not slow down your metabolism. It actually does the opposite. It speeds it up. If you're listening to the signs and signals your body is sending you and you fast correctly, and then you make sure that the food that you're feasting on and your feasting window isn't gonna cause any sort of intolerances or kind of chemical reactions that don't work for your body. So the fasting part is really critical in the fact that you want to rev up your metabolism with fasting, but the feasting part is also really important because if your body is battling inflammation or battling a water retention or battling some sort of adverse reaction to a food or ingredient that you're putting into your body, then that really will slow down your metabolism. Because remember, our metabolism is the end result of our metabolic flexibility. And in order to be metabolically flexible, we have to be healthy. And in order to be healthy, we have to listen to those signs and signals. So it's not so easy as that. Fasting will speed up your metabolism. We have to look at all the components again and understand that you have to be metabolically flexible in order for that metabolism to be sped up. But yes, short answer, it completely speeds up your metabolism. You will reset your metabolic burn rate. And what about plateauing? So I don't believe in plateauing. I believe that when someone hits a weight loss plateau, it is your body taking the time to do these things, right? Remember, your body's in control. We think we're in control. So if you're going along and say you have a lot of weight to lose and you lose that, the healing aspect in the beginning with like water retention and just the positive effects of making better choices, and then you flatten out. I always say give your body this right here, right? Because there's something going on that your body's trying to fix if you're doing everything right, right. So if you haven't stepped away from intermittent fasting, if you haven't stepped into maybe some nutritional choices that really don't serve you, if you haven't gone backwards in your habits, then give your body some acceptance and grace. It's just readjusting this cycle right here. And then before you know it, you'll be right back where you need to be. So I don't believe in plateauing. I believe in this, a reset of healing and hormonal balance for your body. Wanda, looking great, Diane. Thank you, girlfriend. I appreciate that so much. Feeling good as well. Pals, does apple cider vinegar with a pinch of pink salt and a few drops of lemon juice during fast break your fast? So there's all different kinds of ways to fast, right? The apple cider vinegar and lemon thing and salt is a trend, but if you really want to get a clean fast where you can get all of these benefits very quickly, I always recommend putting those on the shelf for a little while. When you're really happy with your results with intermittent fasting, I would test those things. And if you find that they are not affecting you in a negative way, then they might serve you. But I always ask also, like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you putting apple cider vinegar and lemon juice in your water? Why can't you just have water? A lot of people say it is for digestive health or start your digestive system. A bottle of water also does the same thing that has none of those things in it. So if you're really in a state of hormonal imbalance, right, and you're you're not very metabolically flexible, I would never risk lemon juice and apple cider vinegar in my water. I'd put the salt in for sure. That 100% won't do anything. But if your insulin is really out of whack, I would always assume that everything is going to break that fast and it's not worth it. Cassia, I think it is Cassia. Hello from Phoenix. Good to have you, girlfriend. It's September 2028. You're like one of my OGs. I love having you back. Patricia, struggling starting a 4-day water fast and adding ketones, MCT during drinking tea and coffee and water only. I'm feeling sorry for myself having a pity episode. Okay, well, Patricia, I don't know what your history with fasting is, but I would never do a 4-day fast out of the gate ever. I mean, that's hardcore. The other thing is, I mean, this is safe and stuff, but it's like it's hard mentally, physically, and emotionally. One of the things, and why I love intermittent fasting so much, and I practice and teach intermittent fasting, is because I have personally reversed all of the things that were troubling me. I have coached over 7,000, almost 8,000 women now, how to reverse a lot of the things that were bothering them. A lot of women have been completely removed from medication. Surgeries have been canceled. Mysterious rashes have gone away, like with intermittent fasting. 20 hours of fasting, 4 hours of feasting. No extreme fasting, no prolonged fasting, no water only fasting. Fasting and feasting within a 24-hour period, understanding how nutrition works for you. So 4 days might be too much. What I would recommend if you're feeling that way, because depression in a water only fast is a real thing, I would break your fast, I would end it, and then revisit fasting in a way that you can build up if there's some reason you want to get the benefits from a 4-day water fast. There's lots of great benefits, autophagy wise, cellular turnover wise, like resetting a lot of things going on in your body. There's amazing benefits for 4-day fast, but you might not be a candidate for it. I personally love food. I absolutely love food for everything that food is. I can't imagine going 4 days without food. I don't even like to do 2 and 3 day fasts. So you have to understand that the way you fast is very personality driven also. And if you're a person who just enjoys food and you don't do well chemically, hormonally, and emotionally without it, then you might not be a candidate right now. And I would just practice intermittent fasting and get really good with that 20-hour clean fast, get really good with what you're doing in your nutrition, and then kind of build your way up if you want to get there. But it doesn't sound like it's enjoyable, and if it's not enjoyable, I wouldn't even know why you would want to do that. Norma, acid reflux is a battle for me. Yeah, so the best way to heal your gut is to give your gut an opportunity to be empty and heal itself. So what I would recommend is for stuff like acid reflux is be very, very aware of what it is you're having in your feasting window, right? Because most people suffer from acid reflux after they feast, but then, they break up their fast for it. So be very aware of what you're eating in your feasting window. Get really dialed in on and keep a food journal about all the things that you're adding in, and then get clean on your fast for sure. And then acid reflux can also be associated as a stress response also. So make sure you're very, very tuned into some of the things in your life that might be causing you some stress. Linda, Iowa grad, July 2018. My 2018 girls are in the house today. Thanks for joining us. P. Haggerty, I'm doing intermittent fasting with an 18-hour fast. I'm on day 7 and I feel great. I'm using an app called Fastic. I'm going to do this for another week and then move on to 19 or 20 hours and finally 19 and then finally 20. Yeah, for sure. That sounds like a great progression, for sure. And then what I always recommend is listen to your body also as you're progressing up. It doesn't take long to go from 18 to 20. What the block between 18 and 20 is setting that goal of I'm going to do this for a week and then you wait for the day. I always say let your body lead you in that. And if you're at the 18-hour mark and you're feeling great, just step into the 20-hour fast. It's really easy to transition from 18 to 20. Most women who wait a long period of time from 18 to 20 regret it because it was a mental block and their body was totally capable of doing it. So I would say let your body flow you into maybe getting into those longer fasts quicker for sure. Kristen, I have some days where I do really well, 20 hours, and then sometimes the next day I'm just starving and can't get through even 16 hours. So many people say they just aren't hungry, but I can't seem to get there. Okay, so Kristen, here's some advice for you on that is again, everyone, it's a natural thing. They default to there's something wrong with a fast. I'm going to encourage you to be very conscious about what you're choosing to do in your feast. I teach feasting to fast. Most people teach fasting to feast. I fasted, therefore I can feast. And what I like to teach is feast so you can have a great fast. So I'm gonna guess you're probably not getting enough fat, probably in your feast the night before. Another thing that triggers hunger hormones is not getting enough sleep. So pay attention to that as well. And then see when you start playing around with your last feast for the day, how that changes how you're feeling the next day for sure. And you just might not be fat adapted yet. So if you're not a graduate of my course, you didn't say you are, so I'm assuming that you're not. If you're not a graduate of my course, I highly recommend getting on my email list so you can jump into our next one. If you are a graduate of my course, then what I want you to do is go back to that first week of lessons about how to balance out your hunger hormones and why it is you don't have to count calories. Those are the things that you need to have click in your head so that you can support your next fast with your feast for sure. Okay, so Kristen, yeah, so you want to take it. So get on the email list, girlfriend. I teach you all of this in class and why it is you're feeling hungry. So, hungry is where the magic happens. We love being hungry, but there's a difference between being empowered in a state of hungry because you understand that your body is tapping into storage to feed itself, and then there's the hunger where you feel panicked and unsure and almost like desperate for food. And what we want to do is get you from the desperate for food feeling to the empowered comfort in a state of hungry, right? Where like empty is where you thrive. And that just takes understanding what a fasted state does for you. So I hope to see you in class with us in October. You'll love it. Laura, does black coffee with turmeric and cinnamon help with weight loss? And if so, then how does it work? I'm still working toward intermittent fasting. I'm exploring my many allergies: wheat, barley, yeast, eggs, yeast, and pineapple. Pineapple. Oh no. I don't know if turmeric and cinnamon help with weight loss. I guess you got to give it a try. But I would say if you're struggling with weight loss and you're still battling with some allergies, what it is that's causing you to have those allergic reactions is stalling your weight. And I don't know if cinnamon and turmeric will help you with any of that stuff. So you have to figure out where the intolerances with food are. For me, it was wheat, dairy, and soy. And when I would eat something with wheat in it, or gluten specifically, I guess, I could gain 7 pounds in a day just from the water retention caused by the gluten intolerance going on in my body. And so I would tackle the allergies first and then focus on the weight loss, because if you're trying to focus on both, you're going to get distracted on the allergies, and the allergies are probably the reaction your body's having to the allergies are keeping you in a place where you're not able to lose weight. So focus on the allergies first, get that settled, and then I bet you weight loss will happen on its own for sure. Laura, I have hiatal hernia and acid reflux with allergic food and late eating. Okay, so yeah, so if you know that that's if that's what's going on with you, then focus on that, because your body's not going to lose weight if it doesn't get to this and it doesn't get to this. So all of those allergies are causing your body to be off kilter, right? And so no matter what you do to try to lose weight, if your body's not operating properly, it's not going to let go of the weight, because weight is what your body holds into for emergency purposes, right? And so if it's in a state of turmoil, it's not going to be very generous about letting go of that weight, because your body's like, I might need this, right? And so get the allergies healed first. Get that acid or the acid reflux healed first. Then you can start worrying about the weight loss, and then maybe turmeric and cinnamon might help you. I don't know, but I wouldn't even worry about that. I'd concentrate on the food allergies and the late eating is a choice. So if it's not serving you and getting you what you really want, change your eating window for sure. P. Haggerty, no questions, just hello. Oh, girlfriend, thank you. Love hearing from you. Kristen, no, but I want to take it. If you already did that one, Kristen, thank you. You're welcome. Yvonne, girlfriend, hi, Di. Summer 2017 grad. She's my real OG. She was with us when we first started the intermittent fasting for today's AJ Woman course. All is well. Still fasting 20 hours. So 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. Oh my gosh, girlfriend. And on most days, if anyone is wondering if they should do her course, just do it. I'm still reaping the benefits and results. Down 45 pounds and lots of healing. Love you, Di. Yvonne, girlfriend, thank you so much. Love you too. I love this community. I have so many friends that are all over the world, and it just warms my heart when you guys come back and say hello. I love you guys. Yvonne was one of those who was able to reverse a lot of the allergies she had with practicing intermittent fasting. Remember, when you take the problem out of the equation, which is what happens in a 20-hour clean fast, then your body starts to reveal where some of the problem areas are when you make choices about food. And so I would say go into that 20-hour clean fast and then really pay attention. When you're fasted for 20 hours clean, your body gets very, very aware and gets very good at signaling you when you, with your brain, make a decision that doesn't serve it. And you either listen to those signs and signals or you ignore them. When you ignore them, we enter into a season of aging not very successfully and our body breaking down. When we listen to them and make changes according to what it is we say we really want, then we give our body the opportunity to heal and balance. Okay, Laura, you're welcome. Serena, hi. Could you talk about managing hunger hormones? Thanks. Yeah, hunger hormones are the thing that you just have to understand that they're not bad, right? They're either just serving you or they're causing you the problems. And so you have to go through the painful season. I call when hunger hormones are out of balance, I call them toddlers without boundaries, right? And so when we feel hungry, we eat. When our stomach growls, we panic and we eat, or we put something in our coffee to settle it down. When we have all these things that we've been trained to quiet and ignore or shut down, this is where we get into the season of imbalance. And so you have to, in a sense, and don't freak out when I say this word, you have to starve them out, right? Or deny them what you've been giving them to just shut them up until they understand their boundaries. And when your hunger hormones understand their boundaries, then they start serving you and will utilize what it is that you say, what the stuff that you have in storage. So I teach all of that in class, Serena, so I would highly recommend jumping in class with us. It's kind of a long thing to go through, and I don't want to cut it short and cheat you out of all the good info. So I would definitely get on my email list and jump in class with us for sure. Lisa, would you suggest focusing on diet first, then exercising? I have trouble with diet. I'm guessing you mean nutrition. I would say focus on fasting first, right? So it will identify the problem areas with your nutrition. When you get really good at a 20-hour fast and you really understand how nutrition can serve you, then I recommend getting back into exercise. And when I say exercise, I mean more like endurance exercise, or things that are going to create a more like a training effect. I would recommend that while you're going through the learning how to fast long, learning how to feast well, that you still move your body, but I wouldn't do anything too strenuous, because we have three pillars, right? We're pulling on the fast long feast well train smart. If you're pulling hard on the fast long feast well to have this happen, you want to give your body some grace with the train smart. And that's where I would say do some walking, maybe some yoga, maybe some stretching, all the things we should be doing on a regular basis, but we don't have time for. Lean in really hard to all of those things, give your body an opportunity to kind of restore itself. Then, when you're really confident with the fasting long, feasting well, add the exercise in, because then you can pull back a little bit on the fasting. You have a little bit more flexibility with the feasting because you're adding the third component in for sure. Yvonne, yep, allergies gone, hormones balanced, weight fell off, yay. And Yvonne has the most amazing legs I think I've ever seen on a aging woman, if I have to say so myself. She has the most gorgeous body, super fit, super healthy. She's just a beautiful human being. So love having you here with us. Jane, how can I speed up my metabolism? Don't seem to have any. You have to become metabolically flexible. So that's where fasting is really, really powerful for us. So again, I have to default to understand the power of what an intermittent fasting lifestyle can do for you. Understand what happens when you're in a clean, fasted state, right? A lot of women are suffering with intermittent fasting and they're not getting the results they're hoping for because they're listening to all these people who are in a different season than they're in. So make sure you're fasting clean. Get rid of the apple cider vinegar, get rid of the lemon juice, get rid of the artificial sweeteners, get rid of the little things that are less than 15 calories, or whatever advice that's still going around the internet. If you want to speed up your metabolism, you have to get to that place where you're metabolically flexible. You have to understand what it means to drain your tanks, and then you have to understand how your food decisions are affecting this process. When you get all of this down, your metabolism will be so on fire. We call it the energized sense of calm here, where you will go about your day fully energized. Your brain will just be on fire. You'll be super focused. Emotionally, you're super calm, and your body will just be internally utilizing the things that you have in storage, which is what it is we say we want to really happen, and that's lose the weight. So intermittent fasting is the magic for that one for sure. Unique, thanks for these useful information. I'm learning. Awesome, girlfriend. We'll come back. Make sure you subscribe so you'll be able to jump back in with us when we do another live. Yvonne, it's definitely a mindset thing. Yes, that's the component of this lifestyle that I think so many coaches or experts are missing, right? They're just like, here, do what I say to do and don't ask questions and don't think. And if you run into problems, just buck it up. And I don't really think that that's how we should approach taking care of ourselves. It starts with how we think. It starts with how the thoughts in our head make us feel about the decisions we're making. It makes us feel about our body. And then the feelings we have ultimately are how we make the decisions about what we're going to do next, right? And for a lot of women, self sabotage and falling off the wagon and throwing in the towel and talking negatively to themselves is the route that they go to when things don't work as listed out in someone else's plan. If the thoughts you have in your head that you can take care of yourself, that you can rev up your metabolism, that you can fast for 20 hours and really reap all the benefits, then the feeling you have about that is empowerment and pride and excitement. And that leads you to making better decisions for yourself. So the mindset is where we need to lead with this for sure. I had someone ask me the other day, I have people ask me this all the time. They say, do you fast 20 hours every day? My answer is without even thinking about it, yes. Yes, I fast every day for 20 hours. Do I fast every day for 20 hours? No. Some days I don't. Some days I don't track it. Some days I fast for 23, some days I fast for 18. But if you ask me if I fast every day for 20 hours, I without hesitation my brain says yes because that's the lifestyle I've created. But I also am confident enough with my fasting and my feasting that if one of my girlfriends says, "Hey, let's go meet for breakfast," I schedule it around 11. So I still get a good long fast in there. And I say, "Yes, let's go have breakfast." I don't deny myself memory making moments because I have a restrictive lifestyle. But my brain believes I fast every day for 20 hours because that's what serves me. That's the lifestyle that I'm choosing to live. And then I give myself permission to ebb and flow my way in and out of it because I am getting what I really want. So that's key also. Jan, I love what you have added to the course this year. Great info. Thank you so much, Jan. I appreciate that. So many grads are super hesitant to take the course. And so I always like to put a new spin on new versions. And what I have found, thanks to the feedback from our amazing community, is that women aren't struggling with the concept or belief that intermittent fasting can work with them. Most women are struggling with the mindset they have about how food falls in their life, or the mindset they have about when life happens and how they respond and react to that. So we have to deal with the emotional aspect first if we really want to heal, right? Because so many of us have used food for not its intended purposes. And we find that we have angst about food, and food should be fun. Food should be celebratory. Food should be something we look forward to. It shouldn't be something that we dread, and it shouldn't be something that we use as punishment, right? Or entertainment, or whatever it is that is a negative way to use food. We should really enjoy it and have lots of it in our life. We just need to make sure that we're using it in the right way. So Jan, I appreciate that so much. That feedback means the world to me. Lisa, you're welcome. Yvonne, you're welcome. I'm grateful. What are your fasting hours? They vary. I've been doing some metabolic flexibility testing lately using my Lumen, which I've talked about here as well. And I have found that when I finish my fast at 5:30, or my feast at 5:30, so I close out my feasting window at 5:30 in the afternoon. That's my drop dead spot, and I fast for 20 hours into the next day. I feel better. I have more energy. I sleep better, and my metabolic flexibility is exactly where I want it to be. If I eat later, then the opposite happens. And it's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a thing that I've realized, right? So on the weekends when I eat later, I usually don't sleep as well. I don't feel as energized, but that's life, right? So you have to kind of ebb and flow your way with things. But during the week, when I have the opportunity to be a little more structured, I found that if I stop my feast at 5:30 and fast for 20 hours into the next day, that's the sweet spot that I'm living right now. And that could change. Who knows? I'm always testing things out. Sabrina, I would love to learn more. Make sure you get on my email list, Sabrina, for sure. I'll put up where you guys can go to get on the email list. It's right there at the bottom. Just go to fortoday'sagingwoman.com/save, or you can go to fortoday'sagingwoman.com and you can just get on my email list. Here's the thing about email. I hate email. Like, I hate writing email. I love receiving email, but I am not a writer. I could talk to you guys all day about this stuff, but to sit down and write an email about it, it's the thing I just do not like at all. Unfortunately, it's part of how we communicate today and how I can get you information about my course. So get on my email list. I don't spam you. I maybe email you once a week, if that. Sometimes I just don't feel like sending an email, so I don't send it. If you're interested in my intermittent fasting course, I usually email you once a day for a week so that you have the information and I can answer your questions about the upcoming course that you're interested in. So if you don't want to get emailed to get information about the course, don't join the email list. But if you want to get information about what we have going on, I'm launching a midlife mindset shift course. It's all about mindset training for my graduates. That'll be coming out in a week or so. The only way you'll know about that is if you're on my email list. So get on the list. I promise to be gentle to your inbox. No, I don't like writing emails, so you're not going to get a ton of them. You'll only get information from me that you request and I feel like will serve you. So get on the email list for sure. Okay, Sandra, thanks for this time-tested info. You're welcome, girlfriend. And then Dorian, when is the next class? How do I find it? Dorian, the next class starts October, the first Saturday of October. I think it's the 4th. And if you go to my website, fortoday'sagingwoman.com, or you go in the description box below, there's a link that you can sign up on my email list. Just go there, get on the list, and then when we start gearing up, I'll start shooting emails out, and then just come back here Mondays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. and I'll do these little trainings to kind of keep your mindset focused on you wanting to make these changes for yourself. So love you guys. Thank you so much for the comments in the comment section. This is what I absolutely love. It fills my soul. It's my passion, being able to answer your questions and share this amazing lifestyle with you and help you get through this season of life and live this next season of your life with you looking and feeling your best and doing it in your most authentic way. If there's anything that is kind of swirling around in your mind that you're feeling confused about, always feel free to drop me a comment or send me an email. I'll make it one of our topics for our community conversations. I'm here to help you guys. Please don't be strangers. I love communicating with you guys. Have a good rest of your Thursday. Have a fantastic weekend. Fast long, feast well, and always train smart.